Yo, what's up guys? Bill here, Classic Rock and Metal Review, here to review the recent America concert. I saw this one April 1st, 2022. It was at Ocean Casino. Ovation Hall is the name of the venue there, Atlantic City, New Jersey. And before we get started, if you guys can hit like and subscribe, that'd be great. And also the comments are helping me gear the content towards what you want. So some more of that would be cool. All right, spoiler alert, we're going to go down the whole set list here. I'm going to give you the highs and lows of the show. I'll give you an overall rating at the end of it also. So just a quick recap of America's history. They form as a trio in London. They're actually sort of half American, half English parents, military folks. So the trio forms in '69. They did their first demo in '70. The first album comes out in '72, America, America. And they last as a trio until 1977. Dan Peek departs. Rest in peace, he passed away a few years ago. They never did, rejoin each other or reconvene. Dan went on to actually like a Christian rock career after America. But nonetheless, Jerry Beckley, Dewey Bunnell continue as America as a duo. They do another album in '78 and continue to record straight up until now. They have never officially broken up at any point or anything like that. Jerry's done a bunch of solo albums. I don't think Dewey has. Nonetheless, here we go. They're still calling it the 50th anniversary tour, which really was truly, you can look at it a few different ways. They formed in '69. Their demos are '70. They were calling it the 50th anniversary back in 2020 during the pandemic. Released a 50th anniversary box set. That's amazing. I'll get to a review of that someday. Amazing for fans because it's all new material, which is great. I wish more bands would do that. Anyway, back to the show. So it's a Friday night. It's April 1st. Atlantic City's hopping again. COVID's showing signs of letting up. I think I even went to a concert there back in October, November, and you don't need a mask on there anymore either. So, all right, let's get to the show. So it's a fun crowd right off the bat. When you go to see bands like this, I'm 52. I'm usually the youngest one at these shows, and that might have still been the case for this one. But rather than being the youngest and only one really sort of into it, this crowd was really into it right from the get-go. Probably didn't hurt that it was a 9 o'clock show, so it's a later start. They didn't even come on at that point until 10 after 9. Fun crowd. Starts out with the tape playing miniature, which is the little instrumental lead into the opening song, Tin Man. They've used this as an opener through the years a lot. It's a good one because it's, first of all, it's a hit. They had the Greatest Hits album in '75, I believe it is, and a lot of people have that one in their collection, rightfully so. It's solid. It's got about 8 or 9 genuine hits, and then it's got a couple of other sort of deeper tracks that they put on there anyway. May or may not have been singles, but didn't do as good as the other 9 songs. But yet I think this is Tin Man's a solid hit for sure. A couple of the other songs I think became hits because of the Greatest Hits album. But Tin Man sounds good, gets the show started. They go right into You Can Do Magic, so they go from '74 up to the '82. I think You Can Do Magic, it was a top 10 for sure. It was a big hit for them. Sound good, the band sounds good, look good. They have a 3-piece backing band, drummer, guitarist who can also play a couple other instruments, played banjo at one point. I think he might have played keyboards for a song or two. And then they have someone on piano keyboards, electric piano keyboards. Next up is Don't Cross the River, and that's where you get their guitar player on banjo. I'm not sure if I remember whether their bass player does the singing on this one, which has been standard through the years. It used to be a Dan Peek sung song. They've traditionally gotten bass players that can sing that high range. Pretty sure the bass player sung this one. Sounds great, man. It was a great song. Went over great, the audience. Next, Jerry lightens things up a little bit. He does his ballad, Daisy Jane, just an awesome song off the Hearts album from '75. I'm pretty sure that's on Greatest Hits. Awesome, went over good. And then they go into 3 songs from the first album. And it really, I tell you, there's the show really seemed like it had this celebration, like 50th anniversary vibe to it. They really ran through practically every album on their catalog, and I feel like, and I don't think they said as much, but maybe they did before the set. But they played 3 songs in a row from the first album, which was cool. It felt like a little tribute to the beginning, and that first album is amazing. They do Riverside. Jerry does the lead on that one. That sounded great. Then he does I Need You. The band does I Need You. And Jerry usually goes to the piano for this. I've seen them 2 or 3 other times. He stays right on guitar for this one. Acoustic guitar, but starts the song on guitar. Good version. Everyone loves that song. Then they go into Here. Sort of a deep track off of the first album, but for some reason it's pretty much always been in the set list. Every time I've seen them, they've played it. It's on a couple of different, bootlegs I got from different eras, like late 70s, mid 90s. When I saw them in 92, they played it. When I saw them in 89, they played it. And believe it or not, I haven't seen them in 20 years, 2001, which I couldn't believe myself. But anyway, here, I have to say, Jerry, there's a real quiet part in the beginning of the song, which then sort of happens again right before the end of the song. And it's really just Jerry out there on his own singing with just a couple of strums on a guitar very lightly. And his voice was pretty creaky on this part. Only part of the night where I have to say I was a little cringed. But just for a few seconds there. It's kind of cool they're still doing that song. Although I wish, they would kind of change it up. Like I said, it's been in every set list from what I can tell. Everything I've owned, everything I've ever seen. Maybe time for another deep cut. There's so many great songs on that album. Donkey Jaw. So then on to Ventura Highway. Get Dewey back on vocals. Really love Dewey singing. This song sounds great. And I got to tell you, they video montage behind the band, and it was a full-size movie screen like a lot of bands do. It was done so interestingly, so creatively, really cool. My wife was with me. She barely knows them. She knows a little bit about them from hearing me play them. She went away from the show saying that she felt like she learned a lot more about the band from some of their comments between songs, a little bit of what I was telling her. I didn't tell her much during the show. I was just into the show pretty much. But from the video montage, everything sort of, there were relevant pictures to the song. Not in every single case, but in a lot of cases. During You Can Do Magic, they had some of the clips of the video in there, but it wasn't just the video. At times it would be the entire video taking up the whole screen. Other times it would just be the dealer dealing the cards in the video, but just that section of the video with other things behind it rather than what was in the video. So it's really creatively done, and the pictures seem to meld and morph into one another throughout the show. So you would have pictures of, I don't know, just let's say Horse with No Name. You'd have a picture of, say, like video of a horse running through the desert, and it would turn and run towards you, and as it ran towards the camera, it would sort of just twirl and become like pictures of the band. Really creatively done, and things were like that were going on all night. You couldn't help but just appreciate what went into the video behind the band. It was relevant, it was interesting. Lots of old pictures of the band as a trio, and sometimes it was just stop motion video, obviously no audio coming out of it, but the Central Park video from '79 clips, etc., etc. Ventura Highway goes over great. Of course, it's a greatest hit. It goes into one of their newer songs. So they put out an album called Lost and Found, I think 2018, if I'm not mistaken, which was leftover songs from their previous album, which I think went back to 2010 maybe. And I haven't heard that whole album yet, Lost and Found. I do have it. I've heard the first half of it. It's pretty good. They play the first song on it, which is the most popular song on it, called Drivin'. Goes over pretty good. It's a great song. Like it. I think it was my second or third time hearing a song, so that was cool to hear something new. Then they go into Eleanor Rigby by the Beatles, which was kind of cool because, unlike the Beatles song where it's just Paul and orchestration, this is full band, and it sounded cool like that. Crowd loved it. On to some great old ones, and this is, I went there with very limited expectations for some reason. And basically, I thought it was just going to be a greatest hit show, you know, and maybe 3 or 4, maybe a couple deep tracks. Well, at this point, they'd already played a few deep tracks, and then they go into Cornwall Blank off of Homecoming, which is one of my favorite songs of all time by any band. Sounded good. Then they go right into Hollywood, another great deep cut off of the 4th album, Holiday. Sounded great. Now a little run through the 80s. They do Survival off of Alibi. Sounded awesome. They go into another song from, they go into something from Your Move from 83, The Border. I never heard them do that before. Never heard Survival before. Sounded great. Then from the 94 album, Homecoming, they do Greenhouse. Kind of a rocker. Dewey sings it. Liked it. Sounded awesome. And then earlier in the night, someone had shouted out Woman Tonight, and I thought there's no way they're playing that, but it was after Greenhouse. Sounded cool. You know, that kind of reggae song. One of those songs that, in my opinion, became a hit because it was on the Greatest Hits album. I don't believe it was really played much on the radio. Not even sure if it was a single, but a lot of people love that song now, so that was cool. Then they do Only in Your Heart, another one off of Homecoming, so Homecoming gets a lot of representation. That's a great album. I think that's my favorite album from them, their second album. Then they do California Dreamin'. It sounds good. Everyone loves the song, so that's cool. I decided to use it as my beer run, but only because I got to pick something, and I'm not sure what's coming next, but it's probably not a cover song. They go into Lonely People. Their bassist sings this one for sure. It sounds great. You know, it's a Dan Peake song originally with that high voice. So everyone loves that one. Harmonica. I think Jerry was playing harmonica. That sounded cool. Then they go into Sandman. Awesome version. Sounded cool. You know, not unlike any of the versions I've ever seen them do before. Just seem to have a lot of power. This Ovation Hall at Ocean Casino, it's just the acoustics are everything's just so warm sounding there, and it really, you know, that plodding strum in the beginning of this song just sounded so great. All war clips and stuff behind the band at this point. Kent State, you know, just choppers flying over, dropping bombs. You know, it was just really cool. Well done. It's my wife's favorite song of the night. Then they go into their final song of the concert proper. They do Sister Golden Hair. Everyone's into it. Everyone was into the show all night long, except for that middle section where they did the 80s stuff and the Cornwall Blank in Hollywood, which of course is when I was going crazy. I'm a huge fan. And overall, the house was into it. And they come back out for the encore. Of course, it's Horse with No Name. Everyone goes home happy. Great show by America. Kudos to Ovation Hall at Ocean Casino. It's a great venue. I think it's 2,200 seats altogether. They had walled off the balcony. I don't know if that was done, you know, I'm sure that was done ahead of time. You know, if they would have sold tickets there, it would have been an issue. So I think they had walled that section off. I think it's 2,200 total, so I'm going to guess it was 1,500 in the bottom bowl, per se. But great show. I would give this one a 10. It was a great time. The set list had way more deep cuts than I ever expected. I think the overall set list was 21 songs. So more than happy with that. Played an hour and 35 minutes. Awesome. Got a guitar pick at the end. Well, my wife did. You know, when you're hot, you get stuff like that as opposed to me. The band didn't come out, but their roadie who got introduced, I guess they have a main guitar tech guy. He got introduced. He was helping the crowd out. Got a picture of the set list, if not the set list itself. All right, guys, thanks for checking me out. And if you can, hit like and subscribe and comments if you feel like it. All right, everyone have a good one. Later.